Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
And this
It's
big
just
geek Umar, how
Darcy.
y'all do? You guys always mess up my entrance though.
My bad. We got to shout out Darcy, who is not with us today because he's currently preparing for a move. So yeah. But anyway, introduce yourself, bro. That's so rude of you.
This is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing today?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm superb. I'm fantastic.
You're wonderful. You're perfect.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
You're on point?
perfect, but close to it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you, man? How are you? You're always asking how we are, but we never get to ask you. So how are you?
Well,
doing, man?
I'm feeling a little cold today because not as much protection on my face as usual. But
Yeah, you shaved the beard, man.
I shaved the beard.
What was that all about?
It's a seasonal beard. I only grow it when it's cold outside, and when it starts to warm up, I shave it off. Now, this is like a couple days growth since I shaved it off, so I need to shave today or
Got you.
on Monday or something.
So your chin gets a little bit cold in the winter, huh?
A little bit.
Interesting.
A little bit.
All right.
I started going on walks, and then the wind chill, which is like a normal 10-degree wind chill, if something feels ice cold, I'm like, oh.
That happened to me when I cut my hair, because I used to have long hair, and as soon as I cut it, I was like, yo, I'm feeling like an unusual breeze that I've never felt before or for a while. So
I need to ask, how was the longest you ever had your hair? Because when I met you, you only had like a faux hawk.
Oh yeah, you're right. I had an afro in high school, and I braided my hair I used to braid my hair a little bit in elementary school. But yeah. But I don't think I took very good care of my hair, and then now I'm bald. So yeah. But I rocked an afro in high school for a moment in time, and then, as you know, I rocked the faux hawk, and then I slowly started losing my hair, man.
Well, as everyone can see, I'm starting to lose my hair as well. So we all got that.
It's not even I would kill to have what you got right now, bro. Like, your hair, it doesn't even look like you can gel that shit and make it look not noticeable at all. Me, I can't do anything about this. No jealous saving this shit, bro.
But see, the difference is, I think there's a certain level of protection fate has given me versus you, because you, without your when you take off your hat, you still look like a badass. My head structure is not designed to look good bald.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that until you actually go bald. Some people, they just hold on. That was the one thing I said I wasn't gonna do. If my shit goes bald, I'm just gonna shave it off. I'm not gonna be one of those dudes that leave a little bit at the sides and shit, just holding on.
You're not doing a Captain Picard look?
Nah, bro. I'm yo, if I'm going, I'm going all the way. I'm going.
See, I respect that.
Because you might as well get used to it, right? Because there's there's no saving it after a while. And only a few people can rock that the side shit, Jason Statham, good looking dude, and can
Captain
rock the Captain Card, but he shaved all his shit off now. So
that's true. But that was since X-Men. But for a good 12 years, everyone knew him as the bald guy who was the dopest.
That's true. So it takes a gangster to rock something like that. The Rock, he looks good bald.
Who else is really dope who looks bald?
You know what what show I started watching because I need more bald role models in my life? SWAT with what's his name? Shamar Moore. Apparently he started losing his hair and just decided to shave it all off, and now
Shamar Moore's pretty badass.
That's the only reason why I'm watching SWAT too. I don't give a shit about the show. I mean, the show is actually pretty good, but I was just there was a moment in time when I was really sad, and I'm there's not enough role models that are bald that I could really relate to right now. So I need something to boost my self-esteem, yo. So I started watching SWAT, and now I'm on season 3.
Bruce Willis is another bald guy. Oh, poor guy, but he's retired now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. It's very unfortunate, man.
All right, shall we jump into our news for our work for today?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right. So first bit of news kind of came out today, which, let's face it, we all expected it was going to happen. But the Academy has come out and has said that Will Smith, for his slap, as I call it, the slap heard around the world, his slap has caused his slapping of Chris Rock on stage has caused him to be banned from the Oscars for 10 years.
Jeez, 10 years. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah. Okay, I expected this to happen. I can also understand it. But I'm just like, yes, he assaulted a presenter. But like Halle Berry was like kind of sexually assaulted as a presenter. And Adrian Brody nothing happened to him.
This is true. It means they don't they're okay with sexual harassment, but they're not okay with violence against men.
Exactly.
Yeah, that says a lot.
I'm just saying, I'm still going to bring this up because like Roman Polanski is still getting Oscars, or still got Oscars well after he was accused and also found of being a child molester. Kevin Spacey, it was an open secret, and he still got invited. And I'm just saying, I'm just saying, like, I feel 10 years was a little excessive. Yeah. I would have given 5 years at most. But I mean, yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, this is news to me. I didn't know it was going to be that extensive, and I feel like that's a little bit of an aggressive move on their part to kind of to make it so long. I mean, I knew he withdrew from the Academy originally as one of his roads to redemption, if you can call it that, I guess. But yeah,
shout out to Courtney for tuning in and watching us while she's at the Rogers Center.
Shit.
Like, that's a fan.
Amazing.
That's a badass fan.
I love that. I'll almost forgive those the Catwoman remarks. But regarding the Will Smith thing, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
But again, at the end of the day, too, it's like I'm kind of mixed on this whole thing, because it's like, really at the end of the day, it's an accolade that is the main reason why you're going to these awards, to win the Oscar or hope to win the Oscar or whatever. And it's just like I get the appeal of wanting to be recognized for an achievement, like best actor of the year kind of thing. But at the end of the day, like, what is it? Does it really do anything?
The Oscars are like, I only read about the Oscars, about who won over the last like couple of years. I didn't even bother watching. And the Oscars are kind of like the awards to go to, because then you're like Academy Award winner. Like, we can finally say Academy Award winner Will Smith. I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of connotations associated with that now, but
like I think it's like, you can still say Academy Award winner Will Smith, and then like just do air quotes, being like, yeah.
Academy Award winner, but this happens.
Yeah, exactly. But like at the same time, like traditionally the best actor would present to the best actress. So like, I don't know who the fuck they're gonna get to like to present to them next year, but like anyway, anyway, you were saying, yeah.
No, I just does it do anything? And I don't know if you know this, but like, in terms of, okay, you have the title of like Academy Award winner, but does that better your chances of getting certain movie roles or consideration for movies, or is it just a title? Is it just an accolade, and that you don't really, you're like, it's a moment in time where you're recognized for this and that? Like, because look at Leonardo DiCaprio. Look how long it took him to get his Oscar, and he won it for a movie that we never would have anticipated he would get it for, The Revenant. It was a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but
I got my issues about that, because like I found his other movies more deserving. This one was like, This wasn't. He wasn't even acting. He was like, it was showing him surviving the wilderness. That was like a podcast.
Yeah.
Like aside from like the whole bear attack, I'm like that. Like, and also like the big fight at the end with Tom Hardy. This was like a podcast. Like we just like he.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's an Oscar winner, but like that's just me.
But that's my point though. It's like, look how many movies he's done prior to The Revenant. All great movies. And never once did anyone be like, because you don't have an Oscar, I don't really want to consider you for this movie. If you're a good actor, you're a good actor. Point blank period. Like there's no award that's going to, again, it's the accolade of it. And I feel like they put too much emphasis and a strong, they put too much focus on the Oscar itself rather than just doing great projects.
I see that. And to be honest, like now in the new age, like the new age that we're coming into in terms of like Hollywood, there's a lot more money in TV series than there are in movies.
Yeah.
So really like all the big name actors are like going to TV. So like almost like the Emmys are more important than the Oscars. But also like for people of color, it's still a big. This is the most ridiculous photo of him.
Like, I didn't know that was coming up. I didn't even know that was coming up in the slides. But I'm sorry.
But like, with people of color, Oscars still mean a lot because like with white people, it's kind of like, oh, if you're like a genuinely good actor, like. I would say the last time I actually had a severe debate about someone regarding Oscars was Heath Ledger. Everyone's like, he won because he died. I'm like, no, he didn't. He won. Like people were talking about him getting Oscars when the trailers came out for the movie, and that was before he passed away.
And bro, they're still talking about his performance. Like,
still. Yeah. Like even people who don't watch comic book movies are like, yo, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
So I would say that Oscars matter more to people of color nowadays because it's like, oh, you clearly have not allowed them to win. Like,
okay,
aside from like Sidney Poitier, I mean, like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yo, it's a numbers game for him though. Like he's like the man's been in so many movies. He's like, I gotta win one day. Like I feel like that's his attitude. Like he just.
Well, didn't he just get the honorary Oscar?
He did, yeah. But I don't really think he gives a fuck about the Oscars or like the accolades. He like I watched an interview and they were asking him something to something regarding like why he takes on like so many projects and like certain projects that you wouldn't think that Samuel L. Jackson would take. And he's just like, man, I grew up loving movies and that's what I'm in this industry to do, like to be in movies. And if I can be in any movie, then I will. If it sounds interesting, I'll do it. And look at me, like he's done some pretty trash movies before, like, but like he just loves playing different roles and being in everything. Like he's literally in everything, man. So I respect that.
I will say that Oscars will start meaning more to me if they actually stop not including films like superhero films, sci-fi films, fantasy films. Like Lord of the Rings like was begrudgingly won, and that's only because it like overwhelmingly awesome. Heath Ledger, everyone considers it because of his death as opposed to like his performance. But like I just feel that the Oscars are more for like people up and coming nowadays. It's like, oh shit. Like I remember when Anna Kendrick won an Oscar, everyone was like, the chick from Twilight? And now everyone's like, yo, it's Anna Kendrick. But Will Smith got his Oscar. Like literally this was the best time for him to like do this. Because he like the only problem is, and this what I'm about to say will very well lead into my next topic. Right now, there is people putting his movies on pause. So him making movies, him going on YouTube, him continuing his career, he needs to keep his head down and then come back after like a little while.
Yeah.
But Will Smith is even after this current infamy, people are going to want to see the next Will Smith movie to be like, yo, what, like, what's going on with Will? And then he'll go back to being Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he has a mental breakdown, and I knock on wood, I hope that doesn't happen to him.
Well, apparently he checked himself into a rehab center, so he's doing his due diligence and taking the necessary approaches to healing. I think it's a little bit extreme, but at the same time, but in saying that, I think that we as society have provoked that behavior in him because and I think I referenced this the last time we were talking about this topic about what Harvey Dent said in The Dark Knight, where it's like you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right?
Yeah.
And I think Will Smith has been fighting and trying to gain the respect. He's been trying to gain the respect of the hip hop community, although he doesn't do hip hop anymore. But he grew up as a bubblegum rapper considerably, right? And then now he's trying to earn the respect of his wife, which I don't think he has fully. And now he's in a position where he has to now re-earn our respect after what he's done. So that can put a mental strain on you and an emotional strain on you as well. And so I think maybe he's, that's the reason why he admitted himself into.
To be honest, like I feel uncomfortable discussing Jada and him because, like, we're fans of him.
Mhm.
We are we're spectators of their public marriage. I don't want to comment on their marriage. I want him to like.
But you said it right there. Their public marriage, right? Look at I use an example of like Tom Hanks and his wife. You don't hear shit about Tom Hanks and his wife.
Exactly.
And look how long they've been together because they're, even though they're public figures, they stay private. The problem is, and again, you're right, we shouldn't really be speaking on things that we don't have a full scope of, but for for Jada to have this Red Table Talk show and be airing out all of their dirty laundry for the public to be a part of. Now it now goes from you and your partner to now you, your partner, and everyone else who watches the show. Now it's like it's more than just two people in a relationship. We're all part of that relationship now, and it shouldn't be like that.
I will say that the one thing positive that I'm sure there are other positive things because I haven't really watched her stuff, so I can't comment too much on it.
Yeah,
but I will say that ever since she has made her life public through the Red Talk,
mm-hmm.
This is the first time that airing the dirty laundry hasn't negatively backlashed on the woman. It has on the man. I mean, I'm not saying that like men should now start bearing the brunt of exclusively over women, but women have, well, not even recently, for the entirety of human existence, women have received the full brunt of all the negativity. So it is starting to happen that it's starting to transition. Again, this is a case. There are probably a few other cases, probably not many more. But it does show a shift in how people view the marriage. I'm not hearing a lot of negativity towards Jada. I'm hearing a lot of negativity towards Will Smith. And not a lot of people giving him slack. These are the sort of things that women have been saying for a lot of female celebrities. And I mean, in a way, I'm glad that it's transitioning away on women and kind of becoming a little bit like, and not even a little bit more equitable. It's like marginally changed, but it is allowing guys to at least develop a little bit more empathy about what female celebrities have had to go through. And I mean, at this rate, having men suffer the indignities and the difficulties that women go through is the only way for change to really happen, because otherwise no one's going to change it otherwise.
I guess I see your point. I just
but I agree. I don't like the fact that it is this public. I agree with you. Tom Hanks said Rita Wilson, that's the way you should do a celebrity marriage. Tell everyone to stay the fuck out.
Yep.
And like Tom
just
Hanks'
don't air
son
your
is
shit.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't air your shit like that. It's plain and simple, man. Like the fact that she has publicly, very kind of subtly, but still very much alluding to the fact that their sex life ain't shit, and that's not cool. Like, imagine your girl is going around telling everybody that you know, or maybe don't know, that you ain't shit in the bed, like that you're whack, that you can't please her, or that she wishes that she had like a menage a trois thing going on, like. And now you got to go to like public events and shit like that, and like act like you the shit when really everyone's like, nah, you ain't.
I think you need another example because, like, I have a self-deprecating humor. I don't know if that will work in my favor. I'll be like, yeah, I'm actually right. It's like it fits, and everyone else will be like,
fair, I guess. All right, maybe you're
no
not.
one knows me like that, man.
Maybe you're not the best example, but I know for most men, that's like that wouldn't fly. Like, okay, well, but
I love
like
how you chose a big geek Umar and trying to use him as
okay,
like a.
but no, but in all fairness, though, like if your woman was disrespecting you in any way publicly, especially like around people that you knew, like would that sit well with you?
Okay, so hypothetically, I'll say that if I had a wife and if she was talking like about our sex life to everybody, I'd be like, but that's because like when it comes to that sort of stuff, I'm a private person. But that's also a cultural thing because I'm Pakistani. So like, if she's talking about our sex life publicly, she like, I think everyone will just be like. But if she's talking outside of our community, yeah, that would be well. No, I'll be embarrassed no matter what. I'll try to turn around as a joke, be like, "Well, she's not going to get any more sex now," but like, or something like that. I don't know. Like, that's just me trying. But
Come
yeah,
on, your feelings would be hurt, bro. Don't lie. Don't.
100%. I'll be like, "Is this what you think of me?" Also, why did you tell everybody?
Yeah.
And and
like
I
tell
feel
me so I can fix a problem. Don't tell everyone else so that they could like tease me about it when we're at dinner together. You know what I mean? Like, help me.
help me to help you. But my thing is, we saw Will Smith reacting to the news.
Wait, which news?
To the news that the fact that like she believes that they're in an open relationship and she slept with another guy.
Yeah.
It became a meme.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like the world doesn't give a shit about men's feelings.
No.
Like look at like remember when and I know you have some disdain with Tyrese. I don't know where it comes from, but there was
Tyrese.
A long time ago. I think he was going through some kind of divorce settlement or whatever like that, and he went on camera and was like in tears because he wasn't able to see his daughter because his wife I think refused to give him custody until he was able to provide more money than what he had at that time. I don't know the full scope of the story, but basically he went on camera and he was
I
crying.
thought that
He
was
like,
Brendan Fraser.
I mean, that's another example, but yeah, he Tyrese.
Brendan Fraser had it rough.
Yeah, and the thing, we were a little bit more accepting with Brendan Fraser than we were with like Tyrese and Will Smith, though. So I don't know. It just
okay. No, I'm forgiving towards Will Smith. I am not forgiving towards Tyrese, mostly because I find him annoying. But like,
okay, but that's a personal vendetta, man. Like, the facts don't remain. It's like,
yeah. All I'm saying is, I don't know what happened with Tyrese. Like, if it's exactly as you say, and like he's just like someone who wanted to see his kids, and like his wife was being all like controlling stuff. I mean, okay, fine. I don't want him to like.
But my point is that became a meme too. Like like if a man cries or expresses his emotions, nobody gives a shit, or they give so much of a shit that they make a meme out of it. I'm pretty active on TikTok right now, and I posed the question to both men and women, and I asked if at first I asked the men, I was like, are you comfortable expressing your vulnerability to women, or do you have a fear of being labeled as a bitch or a weak man in doing so? And I asked women, how does that make you feel knowing that some men are fearful of expressing themselves? Or if a man expressed themselves, would you view them as weak and insecure or whatever the case may be? And it was crazy. All the men, I don't think one man said I would be comfortable expressing myself to a woman. Whereas, okay, well, you're the exception. But it was just mind-boggling because all the women were like, no, yeah, he's more of a man if he expresses his emotions. But yet you have all of these men who have this fear of showing that side of themselves.
I will say that I grew up with a lot of female friends. So like
Yeah.
I basically what you're just saying right now, I was
Yeah.
literally like hit over the head with it. And then when I started opening up myself and like women were not really responding to it, I was just like, what the F? Y'all lie to me. And then I talked to my male friends like, yo, bro, you gotta lock that up. You gotta lock that up.
You gotta pull it back.
Yeah.
Pull it back, baby. Pull it back.
My favorite statement was from your cuz when he was like, you feel things too much, man. And I'm just like, well, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
They gave me the wrong book at school.
Yeah.
But then when I started holding back, then everyone's like, you don't hold back. And I'm like,
you can't win, man.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I will open myself up and I'll close myself off depending on the situation.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just mind-boggling.
Actually,
man.
if it doesn't, and you're a little guilty of this too. I have been opening up myself to my male friends a lot more in the last few years. And like there are some moments when you guys are just like, it's
no,
like,
but that's
like Andrew Garfield saying "I love you" and like in Spider-Man, and like Toby and Tom just being like,
"No, don't make us look like dicks here, bro." Like that's not how it is. Like when you put
I'm partially joking. I'm partially joking.
When you put extras on it, it comes off like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? But
I will also freely admit I embellish my feelings when I'm talking to guys just to like for added
absolutely, 100%. But I was reading this book, The Way of the Superior Man, and he states that men need to find peace in solitude and amongst other men. Right? That's how they find. That's how they express themselves, or that's how they can kind of consolidate how they're truly feeling, either by themselves or, you know, like kind of when we have bros night or whatever, and like we're just hanging out and we're just chatting or whatever like that, and we start to get into a conversation and we're expressing ourselves like deep rooted shit, but you know, we feel more comfortable expressing ourselves in that regard because it never comes off as a judgmental type of thing. Like it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's always like we always phrase it in ways that aren't overtly dramatic or overtly like emotional. We kind of like we talk about it matter-of-factly, and then we respond matter-of-factly, but like in a supportive way. It was like, yeah, man, I hear you, and kind of like leave it there.
Yeah, I don't think women are used to that though. Like when we emote and then like they're kind of like, yo, where's this coming from? Like I don't know how to handle all this shit right now. So I think that's where the fear comes in from men trying to express themselves, because it's like it comes out so natural amongst other men. But then when you try to do it with a woman, it's like.
But also, like, there's an inherent shift in dynamics because, like, when you're talking to a male and opening yourself up to from one male to another male, it kind of has like a natural state of just like keeping things like almost like an unspoken bond. Let's keep things like not too emotional.
Yeah.
But then there's a shift in dynamic where the guy is kind of like, do I get emotional? Do I not become emotional? Do I be less emotional? Do I be a little bit more emotional? And depending on the woman, it's kind of like they allow whatever feels comfortable for them. And then like all of a sudden the guy's in an era he doesn't know what he's doing. And the girl's kind of like, yo, what's happening just right now? It's kind of like, it's like, so all this to say, we need to have more men and women emotional conversations where
100%.
Now that's not to say like for bros that we should start like getting to the point where all three of us are crying, but like I'm open to it. I'm open to it if you guys need it. Like
nah, I think it gets a little borderline weird at that point. Bro.
It's like I'm there for you if you need me, but like, you know.
I think there's a quota. Only one dude is allowed to cry at a time in any given circumstance.
Yo, we got all three of us watch like Fault in Our Stars together and see like what happens then.
Oh man, who's gonna crack first, yo?
And we're all trying to tough it out, and then it's like,
man.
no.
I'm not gonna lie though, I be crying at movies too, though, man. Like even like when I'm like watching them with my girl, but I try to fight back tears, man. Like I'm like,
so I try to make things funny. Like for example, like me and my friends, we watched Coda, the movie that won Best Picture with Marley Batten and the girl from Lock and Key.
Mm-hmm.
There were some moments that started getting me to tear up, and I was with two other guys and another girl, and like all those guys kind of like started doing this. It's just kind of like watching, like, don't look at me,
bro. I will slap myself in the face to justify my tears if I'm watching a movie, bro. It's just like, that was an accident. That's why I'm crying, yo.
I poked my
Oh man.
Okay, so we went way off topic, but like, just to kind of like transition to the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith can still bank on his name even without the Academy Award. However, he has been having his projects paused since all this happened. I think completely unfairly, and a perfect example of why it's unfair. Ezra Miller has, well, not him specifically. He hasn't, like, I will say he didn't do anything else that we know of. Ezra Miller has returned into the conversation, mostly because earlier this week, it was reported that the WB had a high-level meeting to discuss pausing Ezra Miller's involvement in future projects. Like currently he's in the Fantastic Beasts movies as like a relatively particular, like an important character. Mm-hmm. He's also the Flash in the DCEU, and like the movie Flash is coming out pretty soon, and I mean I get, who knows if it's going to continue on afterwards, but nonetheless WB has kind of Warner Brothers has kind of staked some high franchises on him. Then I think it was this morning. So this was like 2 days ago this came out. And then this morning, the WB decided to set the record straight. Or I should say sources within the WB decided to set the record straight. Yeah, they're not doing that. It was blown out of proportion. They probably had a meeting to be like, oh yeah, Ezra Miller's back in the news. We got to do something about that guy. And someone blew that out of proportion and be like, yo, they're talking about him. So Will has his one and only big negative moment live on screen. People are starting to pause his projects. He is currently a pariah. He's had to check himself into apparently a rehab or psychological rehab place. Ezra Miller caught with drugs, videotaped him assaulting and choking a woman. I really hope she's okay. Yeah, someone needs to let us know she's okay, because like all we know is that he assaulted a woman and strangled her. Has she ever been heard of again? And then thirdly, he got drunk at a bar in Hawaii, assaulted people there, threatened people there, and like attacked a couple and said he's going to kill the wife. And yet Warner Brothers is going out of the way to refute them considering pausing his involvement.
Interesting. So what message does that say exactly? It basically suggests that we can rape, sexually assault, physically assault women, but we can't slap men at the Oscars. That is not. Yeah. Like that's pretty much what this is implying.
Absolutely. And like the thing is, I like how you said it. It's like generally you can do all those things.
Yeah.
But at the Oscars, you can't slap a presenter.
No. That's unheard of. And that's crazy to me.
Oh, okay. And Perpetually Single has just brought up another great point that has also jumped into the news of late. Louis C.K.
won a Grammy. Yeah.
He won a Grammy for a comedy podcast about him sexually assaulting a woman. I mean, I'm trying not to focus on the fact that they're both white men, but it's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. This is I don't even know what to think of all of this, to be honest. Cause like when that video got released with Ezra Miller choking out that girl, it was like it just glossed over everyone's head. No one said anything about it. No, there was no public statement. This guy has come out on video IG live talking about all kinds of other bullshit since then and never once addressed that situation. Just disregarded it. And WB is just sweeping all this shit under the rug, even though they're not even trying to maintain this guy. And I'm like thinking, like, how are you sitting idly by and ignoring all of this stuff? And meanwhile, Will Smith is like doing everything in his power to do the right thing after fucking up and making a mistake, which it was a mistake,
Hands
you
down.
know, right? We're not condoning violence by any means, but at least he's taking the necessary steps to redeem himself and to make amends for what he did,
And it
right?
was a one-time incident.
Yeah, and look how long he's been active in the industry and of all the stuff that he's done, him being a charismatic person and everything, and you know, doing all the movies that he's done and whatnot. And he makes one mistake and people are ready to just dispose of him, cancel him, and all this shit. And like everyone's like, I've seen people like throw out his book and they're like, like I'm done with Will Smith. And meanwhile, you have motherfuckers like this who are choking women. You have Louis C.K. doing what he did. You have Kevin Spacey's and the Weinsteins of the world and all this stuff. They're doing all this shit, and it's like no, like people turn a blind eye to these dudes.
Or they just say, oh, it's just boys being boys.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
And I'm just like, Will Smith, like, there's no history of behavior here. This was
No.
literally like literally everyone was like, whoa, what the hell? I mean, okay, Johnny Depp, I will say Johnny Depp is a complicated issue.
But even
Because it
Amber
wasn't just
Heard,
exactly. Yeah, I will say that like before I was against Johnny Depp because I felt he was utilizing like the law's sexist views against women to like beat his wife like sorry, not physically beat his wife, but like defeat her in court when she was trying to get like justice for the fact that he beat her. But after finding out like more details about their marriage, it felt less like it was her being attacked and more about the two of them are just like really, they have a very, very messed up relationship that was incredibly toxic and violent on
yeah,
both sides. So I'm glad both of them are not together anymore, and I'm also kind of glad that no one's causing harm anymore. But at the same time, if you're going to, I feel in this situation, if you're going to like punish him, you might as well punish her because like she used the Me Too movement when she was doing bad stuff too. Like that's not cool.
mm-hmm.
So Johnny Depp, I will gladly, and Amber Heard, I will take off this conversation. But Louis C.K., Ezra Miller, Kevin Spacey, Roman Polanski, oh my God, forgive me, what is his name? Tim Allen? Oh,
Tim
sorry,
Allen too.
not Tim Allen. Oh my God. Oh God. I am like he was
Damn,
married to Diane Keaton.
you better make that correction, guy. You putting
Yeah,
Tim
yeah,
Allen
it's
under the
not Tim
bus.
Allen, not Tim Allen, not Tim Allen, not Tim Allen. Let me just like, I just need to. Woody Allen.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, he married his cousin or something, or
his daughter, his stepdaughter.
yeah, that's some weird ass shit, man.
Yeah. So like, we got all the like. These are literally off the top of my head. I just have to correct the Woody Allen, Tim Allen. I apologize, Tim Allen. Woody Allen thing. But like, people of color have it difficult. Will Smith, we know how difficult it's been for him. He literally told us, and his wife also told us, he's had it tough.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the compassion in this? Like, this is an understandable, like, no matter what we all agree it was unacceptable, but it was also understandable. I don't find anything understanding about this idiot.
Do you think that Hollywood is built for minorities to
Yes.
thrive?
Sorry, no, I don't think it is, but I think it's marginally beginning to change. Only because representation in films and TV are quote unquote something to bank on, and Marvel picked up on that pretty quickly.
But do you feel like this is a situation where because minorities are getting more of an opportunity in films, um, big budgeted films at that there's so much power being distributed to that side that there's a fear that minorities might take over?
Oh no, that fear is unconscious, and is massively prevalent. And I mean, frankly, I wouldn't even say it's unconscious; it's completely conscious, especially with like, not to get political, but there have been a few statements made by the Republican Party in the last couple of years that, like, they literally said, if we don't do our voting changes the way we want to, we will be outvoted, because people who are like, yes, they represent 30% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. People of color, so this is from Perpetually Single. People of color, especially black men, have to pay for their mistakes 10 times as much. We all know this. Absolutely true. She also said, no, it's not all, but now because we're getting people behind the camera as well. That's true. Because like right now, there's always an inherent fear of being removed. And that's why a lot of white, like the discussion about white privilege is very important, because there are some people who aren't racist, but they've been raised in a certain way that they naturally feel, just unconsciously, they feel something's being taken away from them, and so like, so they feel the need to defend themselves, or they feel the need not to support certain things because they just feel vulnerable, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not used to feeling vulnerable. That's something that needs to be kind of edged out and also talked about, because p- if people of color are able to have a dialogue in a non-threatening, non-psychotic, non-divisive sort of, or non-polarized a way, this conversation can happen more readily. Also, the conversation about men and women also need to have a similar sort of thing, because like,
Mm-hmm.
look at, and we will talk about this, especially when you have when we discuss Morbius later on in this podcast. But like, representation of women as being fully developed characters, multi styles and multi different versions, that is also acceptable and also attractive in non-objectifying ways. We haven't got there yet. We're still talking about it. We're figuring it out, but we haven't got there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So these conversations are happening. To answer your question, it can be, but I agree with you. There is a feeling of it being robbed with more money, more productions, more
Mm-hmm.
visibility towards other people. Like, you can see it as simply as in the conversation of the N word. When rap music started coming out and they started using the N word, white people felt the need to like say the N word while singing the song. And, oh, I'm not being racist, I'm just singing the song. Wait,
Mm-hmm.
why can't I say it, but you can? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you really want to go there?
Mm. That's a good
So,
point.
yeah, so that's what I feel like. It's just like, no one likes being removed from a conversation. But if you don't have the right to, like, you and I really shouldn't be talking about women's reproductive rights in like America or Canada.
Agreed.
Yeah. But nonetheless, if you were to say that in America or here, like, and you say that loudly, you'll have a bunch of people be like, I have a right to talk about if my wife like has kids or not. And it's like,
Do you though?
yeah. I mean, yeah. So anyway, we've gone again off topic. So
See what happens when Darcy's not here?
yeah. All right. So moving on to our next topic. The last bit of news that came out, I think it was today, was that our dear and beloved character from Young Justice, aka Aqualad, I'm trying to remember, Kaldur'ahm. Kaldur'ahm was his name, his real life name, or his Atlantean name. Kaldur'ahm Aqualad has just been announced that he's getting his own live-action TV series thanks to Charlize Theron. She's producing the whole thing. She's the executive producer, and she's bringing it to HBO Max. Now, it's not going to follow. It's an origin story, and it's going to focus entirely on him. But it's going to be based off I believe, based off the graphic novel version of him, not the Young Justice version of him, which is different. This kind of has to. I think let me just look it up quickly. His name is even different in the comics. It's called Jackson Hyde. I like Kaldur'ahm better.
That's his name in the comics?
That's his name in the comics. In the comics, he's called Jackson Hyde, and he is still the son of Black Manta. He is openly gay, so that's awesome. And yeah, I haven't actually read any of his comics, but like nonetheless. So this is an awesome, well-needed addition to the DC platform. I just wish that, here's hoping Charlize Theron is able to find some good writers and good directors. It's Charlize Theron. I don't really know. Like she's an Academy Award winner. And so we know she can.
Means nothing to me.
No one has been casted for this yet. In fact, like this literally just came out, so I don't even know who should play him. Ooh, yeah. Oh no, Michael B. Jordan's too old. He's a teenager, so I kind of want someone because he's part of the Teen Titans. So
based on this picture, I would say Jaden. But now,
Jaden would kill it.
Yeah, but I mean, given the situation with the whole Will thing, I don't know.
I don't see.
I'm hoping.
Okay, for example, if granted, we will have to have. Warner Brothers doesn't care about stuff, as apparently they don't care about Ezra Miller.
Yeah, fair.
So
agreed.
So like, hire Jaden.
Yeah.
And Charlize Theron is going to be is going to be the executive producer, so maybe she won't care. And also, I think, didn't Jaden have blonde hair at one point?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so like he's getting jacked. So
he legit looks just like this guy.
Yeah. So I actually think Jaden would be a perfect casting.
Yeah. I think he could pull it off. He's come a long way. I think we were talking about this last week. Some of the projects that he has done have been pretty good. I liked him in. Obviously, he was young, and it was easier for him to play the role of his Will's dad in The Pursuit of Happiness. But I also liked him in Karate Kid.
He was awesome in Karate Kid,
award winning. But I don't care about awards anyway. So he was all right in that. I think he could definitely pull it off. In terms of the show, I don't really know much about Aqualad outside of Young Justice, and I don't really remember a whole lot of.
Young Justice created the character.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So
like the comics are based off the series, and the series took it like a slightly different turn. I do want to point out something. So like Perpetuity Singles, like give someone new a chance in the spotlight. It's fair. Mm-hmm. And Courtney also says, yes, someone new. I love seeing new actors get opportunities in awesome roles. Fair.
Yeah, I mean, for something like this, because it's not a very, when I say well-known, I don't think Gen Pop would really know who this character is. It's like, wait, there's an Aquaman and an Aqualad. So yeah, I mean, you could definitely get away with bringing on like a fairly new actor to play the role.
I'm just saying, I think given Jaden worked alongside Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
And his dad, Will Smith. I can see Jaden having a great rapport with Jason Momoa.
Oh, yeah. And Charlize Theron actually did have a working relationship with Will Smith. She was in Hancock, so there's already good rapport there too.
Yeah, and she would also know that maybe I'm putting too much emphasis. I don't know. I don't know any of these people, but Charlize Theron, I'm kind of hoping will have an open mind. But I also get the idea of someone new. Yeah, that's fair. But I think Jaden would be a good choice for this. And look, I'm just saying, if HBO Max can prove, given what we saw from Peacemaker, if we can get Charlize Theron to do a good like Aqualad, I think this would be actually a really good set to like start bouncing off, like redoing the DC world with them.
Yeah, I agree. I like what HBO Max is doing right now. I mean, Peacemaker was a phenomenal show, and if we get more shows along that same level, that same caliber, I think we could actually build a solid TV universe,
Yes,
which would hopefully hopefully would translate into the movie universe. Not to say that they have to be connected, but at least if they apply the same kind of formula, because Peacemaker was derived from the movie anyway, and then turned
yeah,
into a TV series, right?
yeah,
So who's not to say that the same thing could go in reverse, where like a TV series starts on TV and then transitions into a movie, right? So I'm hoping that they kind of take a page from what HBO Max is doing
agreed.
and really flesh out these stories. And like I really love what Matt Reeves is doing with the Batman, and like now they're doing the HBO series for television. So I mean, we'll see how all of that goes, but I I, I really want DC to have a solid win. They need a
My
solid win.
my thing is, I know what HBO Max is doing. They're trying to do the whole like the DC, a Disney Plus series version for themselves. It's like the
Mhm.
Batman is going to be good. Let's make a TV series out of it. I'm like, again, guys, you're jumping the gun. But Peacemaker proved that if you have good people running it, it's not too early. So
Mhm.
again, if this works out, if you do it intelligently, just just calm it down and do it right.
What I would really love to see are some one-offs as well. Like similar to like I don't know if Aqualad is at all going to tie into any of the DC EU universe, but
I'm okay with that not happening. Let it be
yeah,
like
yeah,
let it just have Aquaman show up every now and again. Leave
yeah,
it like that.
me as well. I don't really need it to tie into anything, and if that is the case, I would love to see more standalone shows that are not connected, and that way they can have free range to kind of take the story wherever they want. So, I mean, you know me, I've been dying for a Batman Beyond series for forever, man. And now that Michael Keaton is active as Batman, I mean, the possibilities of that happening are pretty high. So I'm hoping that they kind of lean into that direction and they start doing some more one-off stories that are not necessarily connected to the movie world. And then just flesh out the TV series.
Okay, so just putting up what a Perpetually Single has brought up. She's like,
Mhm.
especially if they're going to make the character gay, it would be nice to get someone who is gay as well. Fair,
Agreed. Yeah.
fair.
I mean,
Um,
well, does it have to
not
be?
it doesn't have to be, but it would be nice that a black gay man or a black gay character can be front and center.
Yeah,
It would
because
be
well, who's the guy from Eternals? He's also in Atlanta. I forget his name. Oh my gosh, but
he's Fastos in Eternals. He's
he
Tyler. No,
I forget it. I can't remember his name, but I mean, I don't know what his sexual orientation is, but um, I don't know. I don't know if they necessarily need to be. It's just good to
Brian
yeah,
Tyree Henry.
yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, it would be nice to have some realism in there, but I think if a person can capture, I mean, this is corny to say, capture the essence of what it what it's like to.
I don't think Perpetually Signal is talking about the fact of like that a straight person can't capture it.
No,
It's
no, no.
more about
Yeah,
the
no.
fact. It's more about the fact that like like having a legitimately gay
Oh,
black.
I see. Giving them more opportunities, kind of thing.
Yes,
Got you.
and for
Okay.
them to be celebrated being front
Right,
and center.
right. Okay, yeah. If that, yeah, for that being the case, then yeah, I 100% agree. I think there needs to be more of an open forum for that and more opportunities for that.
Yeah,
I thought it was more so in terms of like a straight person
no,
couldn't
no,
play it, but yeah, I guess I didn't think of it that way. I agree.
Fair.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next topic, which is touch base with tactics. Now, I have already, in my vain attempt to stop you all and also my bros from having to watch the movie Morbius, I gave my review last week saying how much I hated Morbius. I also probably got a little carried away, but nonetheless, here we are. What I didn't know, and I don't think at the time you knew either, is that Tactix also was someone got him tickets to go see it and took him to go see Morbius. And I'm sorry, man, but I would, now that you've watched it, and I hope to God that Darcy doesn't have to, because I don't want him to go through this, but I have given my review. Let's hear from Tactix. What did you think of the movie Morbius?
So I wasn't even like initially when I saw the trailers, I was pretty. Let me retract that. I wasn't hyped to see it, but I was curious. And I've already expressed my opinion about the whole putting villains in the forefront. I'm of the mind where I like when villains steal the show. I don't like when villains are the show. So I don't.
Agreed.
I wasn't a fan of Joker. Don't like when they use the villain, they make villains be the main star and all that. So like I'm just not it, because then it just leaves me yearning. I'm like, where's the hero at to like fix all this shit, right? So
Also, you have to make the villain like relatable, so you have to make them nicer or better in some way.
And you basically just water down the character. Like Venom had its fun moments, but at the end of the day, it was like, am I gonna really be eager to watch this again at any point in my life? Probably not. I've only seen the first Venom once, and like I scroll through Netflix and I'll see it, and I'm like, I really don't want to watch that again. So yeah, I'm just not into the whole idea of bringing these villains to light, right? But I was curious based off of the trailers, and then you watched it, and then you gave your rating, and I was like, okay, but like Umar, he's very critical when it comes to movies, and we don't always see eye to eye when it comes to movies. So I'm thinking, okay, you thought it was absolute trash. Maybe I might find some redeemable qualities and actually end up enjoying it, because that has happened before, not specifically in terms of your interpretation of movies, but just in general, from based off of like what the public perception is of certain movies. I end up going to movies and I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty good.
Oh God, I do not like where this is going.
So I'm watching this movie, and the first, I'd say, half hour, I'm like, okay, I don't know what anyone's talking about. This isn't terrible. I mean, it kind of gave me the, when you watched when we watched Fantastic Four, the 2015, was it 2015 or 2014?
It
that
wasn't
version?
like the beginning wasn't as bad.
Yeah, I'm like, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, yo, I think the critics got it wrong on this one, because this movie isn't that bad. And then you get to the halfway point and you're like, oh, okay, that's what they were referring to. This movie, I don't even know the point in where it takes a dip, but when it dips, it's like a roller coaster that dips and doesn't go through a loop. It just dips and goes off the rails. Like, and you crash and you burn hard. I'll equate this movie to, and sorry for this very crass example, but, and Umar, I'm sure at some point you're going to experience this. But do you know, for any guys that end up watching this, especially Darcy, you ever have that moment where like you're with your woman and you're getting intimate, but let's just say like tonight's just not your night as a man, right? And you can't really rise to the occasion. Like you can rise, but it's not as, the situation isn't as firm as you would like it to be, but you still want to give it your all. You know what I'm saying? And so you're pretty much just like mashing it in at this point, right? just trying to make it somewhat of an enjoyable experience for your lady. And her on the receiving end, she's like, okay, well, I've had better. This isn't quite what I was anticipating, and how I'll describe this scenario is it was something to pass the time. Watching this movie, I feel like the woman in that situation where it was like, I felt like someone just gave me a semi-flaccid phallic object. Yeah, that was the experience. Like it was like, okay, it happened.
I'm crying, bro.
It happened. Can I say that it was enjoyable? Not really. Can I call it sex? I suppose. Can you call this a movie? Yeah. Good movie? Not really. So that is how I view Morbius. It was semi-flaccid.
Okay, hold up. Are you telling me this movie got a higher rating from you than Matrix Resurrections?
Oh shit. Okay.
Because that's some bullshit. If it is.
Wait, no. Okay, because that's a tough one, man. Because Matrix was some bullshit too, man.
But only parts of it was bullshit. It actually was it was better written and better acted, and made more sense.
So, okay, but the thing that hurt me about the Matrix is the fact that I was actually excited and anticipating it to be a great movie. Like I went in with high expectations because I'm like, there is no way Keanu Reeves would come back along with Carrie-Anne Moss to a crap movie that we got. And sure enough, that's what it ended up being. So I was heartbroken because I love The Matrix. The Matrix is in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. The first one, anyway.
Yeah.
And to find out that the who was it, Lana Wachowski, or sorry, what's
I think it's
Larry?
Lana Wachowski.
No, but yes, sorry, yeah, she yeah, yeah, to just find out that she decided to do it just because she was gonna lose the rights and her heart wasn't in it is super depressing. At least with this, I was like, I had low expectations, and
they still disappointed you.
Even then, my expectations weren't met. But at the end of the day, I wasn't disappointed because I was like, I knew this was going to be bad. So, and I didn't pay for the ticket. So, so I mean, I walked away with some good popcorn. So I'm okay.
You essentially, so in this, to further your analogy, you're just happy you got dinner before you got the lame ass sex.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I was a woman, it'd be like, at least I didn't have to pay for my dinner, and I got a ride home. That's pretty much it, man. It's like, the scallops were really good that night. So yeah, that's how I feel about the movie, man. There was just so much randomness in it, like
it barely made sense. Barely made sense.
Like I don't even know. I'm gonna flip to you for a second because I'm gonna switch to. I know you already talked about the post credit scene, which was fucking trash. I don't even know why
we need to talk about that because yeah.
Why the hell are these two in this movie?
Oh,
like they served absolutely no purpose. And like I'm noticing that like Tyrese has some like metal thing on his arm. Apparently, like he was supposed to have superpowers, and they just scrapped that whole part from the movie. And I'm like, was the movie did what? Because I'm thinking, I'm like, it couldn't be a time thing because the movie was like an hour and a half. You mean to tell me that whatever you shot was too long? Like, there's no way. For an hour and a half movie, you couldn't just give this man more stuff to do?
It just shows that they had probably worse things. Things that will.
Because there's one scene where Morbius literally flies up like 30 stories, right? And Tyrese is on the bottom, like the bottom level.
Yep.
Morbius gets onto the roof, and then all of a sudden, Tyrese is there. Like the next scene cuts, and Tyrese is right there. I'm like, okay, wait, how? Tyrese, are you a vampire? Like, how did you get up there so fast?
Elevator.
Bro, what kind of elevator is like? What was it? The Bill and Ted elevator? Like that? travels through time? Like what? How did that happen?
Okay, you have to understand. You're asking such small questions. There were so many other questions. They literally said he said I feed every 5. I'm down to 4 hours and 22 minutes before I have to feed. He checked his watch. He had passed the 5-hour mark, and then carried on the conversation like nothing had happened.
Oh,
I was like,
and let's not forget that he created a cure for 2 people, him and his friend. Stabbed his friend, cured him, killed him. My man, aren't you gonna inject yourself? I thought that was the plan, and then you just kind of disregarded that altogether.
also, what about the little girl that he was
Oh yeah,
treating?
he forgot about her. He's just like, yeah, she
they
just left in a coma. Like she's yeah, she ain't waking up. That's all right.
It's like, oh my god.
I'm like, you're a stand-up doctor. That's
so they're trying to paint him as a conflicted individual. He killed 8 people, and the movie actively tried. Even these 2 people, they literally said we shouldn't care about these dead bodies because they're mercenaries.
yeah.
But everyone seemed to forgot they were trying to they were there to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they could turn that around was the fact that one of them was sexist, and the other one threw her against the wall for no apparent reason that left her in a coma for a couple of days.
And then this is the struggle with a lot of these villain movies, because it's like you're trying to find a line where it's like you try to humanize these characters, but it's like they're villains for a reason. Like we're not supposed to be siding with these people. And then you set them up to be like an anti-hero, only to just disregard that with the post-credit scene at the end, where it's like why would he even Morbius, even in I don't know much about Morbius at all. I know he's a living vampire, and that's the extent of my knowledge. But I know
he's a pseudo vampire. He's not even a real one.
Yeah, so in the Spider-Man animated show, Morbius was never a villain, really. He was just conflicted because he had
character.
He had this hunger, right? But now they're painting him out to be why would he be in the Sinister Six? Why would he have beef with Spider-Man? He doesn't even know Spider-Man.
And technically speaking, neither does this Vulture.
Also true.
Also, technically, they've started the Sinister Six with non-sinister people.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Why did Michael Keaton get sent to that universe?
Your guess is as good as mine, bro. I have no idea.
And why? And also, this guy, why did he get evil? The movie acted like you should understand why he went evil, but we don't, though, because he fought against people who were bullying him, and he gets angry about it and starts beating them up and shit. But why does that mean he just starts going on a killing spree?
I see, and the thing is, I never watched Doctor Who, so I'm not all that familiar with this guy as an actor. But I feel so what he gave us, definitely not good. I'm not saying that the shit was good, but I feel like he's got villain potential, and it was just wasted in this movie.
Yes,
just completely wasted in this movie. And I agree with you. There was no motive behind him turning evil. And when watching his transition, it was very reminiscent of what they did in The Amazing Spider-Man with Harry. It's the same formula. It's essentially the same formula. It's I need your blood, or I need something from you. You're not going to give it to me, so I'm just going to improvise, or I'm going to take it and then turn evil. It just what?
Also, his whole point was, I'm going to make you my brother. Why was he trying to kill him?
Mm-hmm.
Also, why did the bats need to be used at the end?
It was a Kamehameha, bro.
But bats are this big.
Yeah. It's a Kamehameha, bro.
But why couldn't he control the bats? The bats were fine with they were fine with anyone who's transformed, right? So
That's a stupid fucking power to begin with. I like why does he control the bats to begin with?
Also, why did she become a like when she, like I found it at first hilarious that literally every character in this show movie was getting killed off. Like they're like, I don't want to come back, you kill me. But then she wakes up with vampire eyes at the end. Why?
They don't explain that. They leave that to interpretation. That's pretty much it.
But like, why?
Yo, you're good. Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. I have no idea what was going on. I was just enjoying the really good popcorn. That is it, man. It was worth it just for the popcorn.
Some bullshit.
The popcorn I did have to pay for though, but it was still worth it.
So Perpetually Single is saying Matt Smith is a great actor. They just give him bad stuff. I agree. I actually really like Matt Smith. And you're right. He has fantastic villain potential. But like, I just feel bad. Okay, so this moving on to our next topic that's somewhat in connection to this.
Well, first of all, yes, bats do give you abs. Apparently.
That made no sense either. Like with spiders, we can understand because they say like they're able to like carry, like they're able to like utilize a lot more strength than their average body. The same with ants. They didn't make that statement with bats.
No.
So yeah. Anyway, so for those of you who don't know, this movie is considered a Marvel film, but it's not really because Sony. This is a Sony production, and Sony they bought the rights to Spider-Man and all his characters back in the day when Marvel was bankrupt or going bankrupt. And so they're holding on to the rights and they're not giving it back, but they are not really doing great stuff with it. Like sometimes they can, other times they do not. And right now they are not. So they loaned out Tom Hiddleston to the MCU. And then they thought for some reason that they can use that platform and do things better. Tactix, after watching this movie, what are your thoughts on their potential of creating a cinematic universes on their own?
Sony?
Yeah.
Not good. I will say there have been talks about I don't think this in particular is going to happen, although anything is possible. But there have been talks about Tobey Maguire returning. And
there's talks of Andrew Garfield coming back.
And Andrew Garfield. So if that is a possibility and we get the original directors, I'd be on board with it. I'd be cautiously optimistic, but I would love to see both those characters come back and us revisit that world and give the final sign off that they both, I feel, deserve. Even though, I mean, you can make the argument that they kind of got that in No Way Home, but I feel like Sony did Andrew Garfield dirty as fuck. And
no, I think Toby's done. Like, we don't need more of him. I think Andrew Garfield is.
I was not happy with Spider-Man 3, man. I feel like don't end it there. You can't end it.
No,
there.
But like, he has his edit from No Way Home. Andrew Garfield got redemption. He didn't get a sign off though. And also like Sony is in charge of Venom. They're in charge of Morbius, and also they're in charge of Spider-Man. And I'm terrified of them being in charge of Andrew Garfield because they fucked it up the first time.
Yeah, but I know, again, cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping that they've at least learned their lesson. They're shit in the bed with the villain shit and this whole Sinister's this. Like, They need to just, like, you remember Mean Girls? Where she's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. Like, stop trying to make Sinister 6 happen, please. Like, no one wants to see that. Like, we want to see it in a Spider-Man movie, but not on its own. Like, please, just get rid of that idea. It's not going to happen.
It's not happening, guys.
It's not happening. But admittedly, I do want to see a Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield because I was getting pretty invested in where they were taking that storyline. Even, again, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is not a great film, but there's good stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the storyline took a little bit of time for me to kind of get used to the whole notion of like Peter's parents being part of this conspiracy and all that stuff. Like,
But it was underdeveloped because the thing is, like, Sony was trying to make the Sinister Six happen, so they threw in the whole Harry Osborn and shit like that. Like,
yeah,
if they just stayed out of it and let Mark Webb do his thing, we would have gotten a much better story.
yeah. So I like if Mark Webb was to come back and with there being no studio interference, I would still want to see that movie. Like we
Agreed.
don't need a whole trilogy. I just want one more movie as a final send off. You know what I mean? And that because again, we still have Tom Holland as Spider-Man. That is our current Spider-Man right now, but at least give the fans like
Something.
yeah, like complete the redemption of Andrew Garfield. Because yes, he did get redemption from No Way Home, but again, that was not his movie.
Yeah.
He got redemptive moments, but we want a redemptive story. We want a full
Agreed.
complete package, right? Like, and then with with Tobey Maguire, again, you can't leave it off of that bullshit that was Spider-Man 3. After coming off of Spider-Man 2, which is like revered as probably one of the top best comic book movies of all time, and to end that trilogy, like, come on, man. That's like almost equivalent. Well, no, because the Dark Knight Rises was not nearly as
No. Like, Dark Knight Rises was still a quote
it was.
unquote a decent film.
Yes, it wasn't a train wreck. But Spider-Man 3, man, I don't know. I don't know what's good about that movie, really. Like the whole emo thing, like
I
just
like the first fight between Harry and Peter when he's like trying to like propose.
yeah, I guess that was cool. Like yeah, but again, apart from that, it
That's
was
that's
like,
that's about it.
yeah, the whole Eddie Brock thing was just
Don't need, yeah. All
yeah.
right. So my last question to you is, who do you think is doing a worse cinematic universe? Sony or WB?
So WB, what are some of the movies for WB right now? Or
Justice League, Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman,
Mhm.
Flash, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, uh, Birds of Prey, uh, yeah, those
Oh,
films.
and then Sony. So are we talking about like recent films or like because like Sony's done like what like the X-Men and
No. That's Fox. Fox did the X-Men.
oh right okay
So Sony has only done Spider-Man. So like all the first three Spider-Man movies, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Venom, 1 and 2, and now Morbius.
oh then definitely Sony. Sony is definitely taking the L on this one because with Justice League.
WB gave us the Dark Knight trilogy.
There you go. Okay, enough said. Enough said.
But okay, you can say, like you said, Spider-Man 2 has stood the test of time.
That's one film though.
The first Spider-Man up until recently stood the test of time.
Okay, but okay, I know I know you have your issues with Spider-Man, and I can't even contend against your points against that movie. However, that movie will always have a special place in my heart. It's like
Yes.
because
It started it all.
it started everything, bro. It's like the Tim Burton Batman, except it's not as good. Like, I mean, I could still watch Batman and be like, yo, I'm enamored by this film. Spider-Man, you're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I was
You
definitely young when I
questioned
watched it.
yourself a
Yeah,
little
I was
bit.
like,
Yeah.
I definitely. But okay, but in all fairness, it's because we've had so many great movies that came after it. So it's like it's still that movie created giants.
Yes, because like okay, after that, very soon after that, like I think yeah, so like we had Blade first, Then we had Spider-Man. Then we got the Spider-Man trilogy. And then very soon after that, we got the whole Iron Man and like the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Marvel was like, okay, we're going to do that, but we're going to do it better.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I'll group Spider-Man in there too, because it's a veteran, man. It paved the way for a lot of these movies. Like it was responsible for the resurgence of superhero cinema. So you gotta give it some credit, man.
I'm not
And
taking.
and on top of that, if it wasn't for that movie, No Way Home wouldn't have been as epic as it was.
Fair enough. I'm not saying Sony has nothing to show for it. I'm just saying that in terms of fucking shit up, I think Sony has done okay. Okay, that's a question for both of us to answer. Who do you think is fucked up the most severe? Not the most severe.
I'd say Sony. Even though they have Spider-Man, so they have Spider-Man. They have, is X-Men part of this camp or are they Fox?
No. X-Men's Fox.
Fox. Okay, so
and Fantastic Four is Fox too.
So they have So basically, Sony only has Spider-Man.
Yeah, and the Warner Brothers has the entire DC. They have everything DC.
And I mean, they gave us a good one, the first good Wonder Woman.
Okay, so they gave us a good the first Superman with Christopher Reeves. They gave us Michael Keaton and
oh, you're going that way back.
I'm okay. Like we might like Warner Brothers has given us a lot of good, but they've given us a lot of crap. I think Sony is like at best. Oh no, but Sony has given us some like solid ones.
Like what?
But Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man, half of Amazing Spider-Man 2. They started things off with the first Spider-Man. That's about it. Yeah, you're right. Sony's fucked it up.
Yeah. So yeah, it's no contest at this point.
Yeah. So yeah.
And the shit that they have coming up is it's not even intriguing. I don't even know where.
I don't want to see Madam Web. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, who the fuck? Why are they doing this movie? I don't want to see Kraven the Hunter either.
Like, I don't want Kraven to be like, if they're gonna make him like, the problem with making villain movies, like you said, you have to make the main villains sympathetic. So then you're naturally watering them down, which means they're not sinister.
Yeah.
So the Sinister Six makes no point.
They're the sympathetic six.
Yes. So who the fuck cares if they fight Spider-Man? Because the entire time you're gonna be like, why are they fighting him?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care.
And like no one, like literally Sony is making films no one asked for. I didn't ask for a Morbius. I didn't ask for a Kraven. I didn't ask for a Madam Web. I asked for Spider-Man and Spider-Man did well, and then be the villain's scene. That's all I really need.
So I have a question for you. What do you want to see from Sony?
I want to see Andrew Garfield Spider-Man come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to be without their influence. Secondly, I am really good with the idea of a Spider-Verse where you get Toby and Tom showing up every now and again. However,
I forgot about the Spider-Verse, the Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, I'm fine with that. But also I'm fine with them doing the Clone Saga with Ben Reilly. I'm good with bringing in Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. Why aren't we doing those films?
And what about WB? What do you want to see from that?
WB, I want them to get their shit together. You literally have every character in the universe. You have the rights for it. And the best character you're able to utilize, the only character you're able to utilize best is Batman. Superman, I know Darcy and I disagree. They fucked it up. It's not like they didn't have a good source material or, it's not like they didn't do it right before, but they fucked it up. Fine. Flash, please get rid of Ezra Miller and give us Grant Gustin, and then you could fix that. But Aquaman, I mean, I'm not thrilled with it, but I'm not against it. Wonder Woman was done well. The second one, I mean, not so great. But like, guys, you have the rights. Stop getting in your way.
I forget who the director was. He's directing I think it's the director of excuse me. What's it? Shazam. He was on a panel and he was asked recently if he would ever direct a Superman movie, and he flat out said no, absolutely not. He does not want to touch Superman. He's like, I have a love for the character, but the problem with doing a Superman movie is that Superman is so revered, and there's people have their own perception of what a or depiction of what a Superman character is supposed to be, that it's very hard to have him done right and appease the masses, because at the end of the day you're always going to be comparing to that of the comics or that of or Christopher Reeves, right? Like no one has ever really been able to. I mean, you can make an argument for what's his name?
Tyler Hoechlin, I will say, has done a remarkably comfortable job.
He's actually pretty fantastic. I will say. I think if they I think it's possible. I think you can get away with it a lot easier in TV than you can within movies, though.
I think, okay, so like how we have like Robert Pattinson is Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with him.
Mm-hmm.
You and I hope other people are good with Tyler Hoechlin as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just take off some of the fake padding and I think we're set.
Mm-hmm.
Those two characters you can put movies on them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Robert Pattinson has proven it, but Tyler Hoechlin is a decent actor, and he is killing it as Superman, live action wise. So get some decent writers, get a competent director, and we'll see how Shazam goes off. Of like the director of Shazam as well. Like you can do a Superman story. It's just that the fact is, like the problem with doing a Superman film is what the problem was with Batman films. You lose sight of the character, you lose sight of what makes it good. Batman was never the guy who was like a ninja who beat people up. That was an aspect of what made him great. The best part about him was the fact that he was the strategist, he was the detective. He was able to stay one step ahead, or he was able to be at pace with the most deranged of characters. And Matt Reeves brought that out, and that is what I really enjoyed about the film. Now, granted, they showed it from the perspective of him learning, but still, nonetheless, it felt like a smart Batman.
So let me ask you this then.
Well, hold on. So, like, yeah, my just to finish my point, with Superman, all you have to do is show a vulnerable person with superpowers. Don't try to focus on the fact that he's such a badass he can handle all these things, or he's such a god and he has to lower himself to human standards. That's not relatable. You show a man who believes in the best aspects of humanity, exemplifies it both as a quiet individual and then as a superhero who like is willing to like talk to a person who wants to commit suicide and convince them just by showing them the beauty about life. Like, show Superman as a life coach. Like I kind of view you sometimes as my Superman, because like as a life coach, as a mental health person, like you're able to inspire positivity and also look jacked doing it.
Yo, we got that on film, bro. We were recording this shit, yo.
So
I'm gonna play this at my wedding.
But like that's what you do with Superman. And that's what the studios have missed out on, and Zack Snyder completely missed.
Fair.
So okay, sorry, you had a question.
Yeah, so let me ask you this before we wrap things up here.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I see it from your perspective, and I think that's kind of why I've taken a liking to Tyler as Superman.
Yes.
And the comparison, even though I like
Christopher Reeve.
No.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. I like him, and I like
I do too.
what he did as Superman, but
He could have done so much more.
yeah. But okay, with this whole Ezra Miller fiasco that's
Bullshit.
going on right now, right? There's talk, or rather, people are campaigning for him to be replaced with Grant Gustin. So the show aside, what are your views on Grant Gustin's portrayal of the Flash?
So based off the first 2 seasons I watched, Grant
Yeah,
Gustin can do a Barry Allen. I like him as Barry Allen. He's a good actor. Problem is he has the TV series and the writers and the directors to contend with. He
yeah,
like it's the same thing as Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill could do it. It's just he wasn't given the material to do it.
mhm,
Give Grant Gustin, like, I like him as an actor. He's like, I think he's a bankable person, and just let him be the like a new Barry Allen, but like a Barry Allen who's written differently and directed betterly. And here we go. Get the
mhm,
fuck, like, Ezra Miller is a decent actor. He's not Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not Will Smith. He's not like I'm trying to think of, like, he's not he's not Robert Downey Jr.
mhm,
He's a competent actor. That's it. He's not a hill I want to die on because he's not worth dying for.
mhm,
You can replace him in literally anything else.
mhm.
So replace him.
Yeah. The problem though right now is that they've already shot a majority of this film. If not, they've completed it, right?
So
So
fine, complete it, add another scene, and have him just like wipe himself out of existence and have Grant Gustin be in charge.
mhm. Is there? I wonder if there's like a clause at all in terms of, because like when you assign, I guess the person who makes these contracts can
Yeah.
alter it at any point in time. So I guess it doesn't really
But
matter.
also, if he doesn't fulfill his end of the bargain, like,
Yeah,
he's causing a lot, like, he's literally being arrested
yeah,
and
that's true.
charged.
Yeah, he's a
Like,
liability right now.
yes, and I will argue and going back to our first topic, a significantly more liability than Will Smith. So
Yeah,
if Will Smith is getting his stuff paused, Ezra Miller should get his stuff canceled.
I agree. I agree. It's difficult right now because at least with Will Smith's situation, and not that I'm condoning the whole being paused thing, but none of his projects I think were,
Taken off the ground.
yeah. Whereas this, they were already like,
I hear
yeah,
that it's an awkward situation, but at the same time, he's not like it's not like Ezra Miller is decreasing his incidents; he's increasing them.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just unfortunate because I'm sure Michael Keaton was super excited to be on board for this because the man still
Yeah,
refers to himself as Batman.
I'm just saying, like, if Michael Keaton can show up in Morbius, I think he's fine with like doing his like small level shit. I just all I want is the Flash movie to happen. I'll see Michael Keaton. I can ignore everything else, but then have Michael Keaton have a Batman Beyond spinoff. Just give
Yeah.
me that. Just give me that.
TV series or movie?
Fucking TV series. Michael Keaton deserves the dough.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because I think he's at that.
Do the like origin film movie and then do a TV spinoff because that's the rage in WB right now.
Yeah, because I think he's at that age right now where it's because he's not super active in terms of like movies right now. Like he's not doing a
He's done
long.
his shit. He's
No, no,
had a bit of a renaissance in terms
he
of
ha- he has, but I mean he's not in a whole lot of stuff. Like he spaces his movies out. Like
yes.
he's made a
Yes.
comeback for sure, 100%, but he's not as active as, say, who's in like a, well,
Samuel L. Jackson.
I mean, that's a unfair because he's just like this guy's nonstop. He just keeps going. But yeah, I feel like as you get older, you probably, and again, I don't know what the comparison is between like a movie shoot and a television series.
Mhm.
I know in some cases a TV series can be more grueling than that of a movie set. But I don't know. I would definitely, I agree. I would love to see a TV series of Batman Beyond. That way we can flesh it out a little bit. Because the way they ended the animated movie or the animated show, like,
you are not letting that go.
nah, never. They gotta continue from where they left off in live action. Oh, that would be sick. But no, that would confuse the fuck
No,
out of everyone.
I want a retelling. I want the
Yeah.
movie to happen and then to move into a TV series, or just do a
100%.
TV series. I don't fucking care. But like, I just hope that when he shows up in Batgirl, that like, and Flash, that he steals the show, and then they just like, you know what, Michael Keaton's killing it. He's like back to the person that we want. Yo,
Yeah, what up? Darcy in the house. And I agree. Yeah, Batman Beyond HBO Max for 100%.
I agree.
100%. And we need a Static Shock.
And a Static Shock.
Yeah.
All right, T, let's wrap things up.
All right. Well, we want to thank everyone again for tuning in. If you're tuning in now, you tuned in before, you're tuning in later. Much as always, we appreciate the love, the support, the comments, the likes, subscribing, all of that. So you know where to follow us and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, this has been another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Live long and prosper, y'all. And also, we are going to put in the timestamps at the in our description. So if you're watching this after our live podcast, you'll be able to go to the topic that you want to listen to at the bottom.
Amazing. All right. Well,
take care, guys.
Just gonna keep it on your handsome little face there. Yeah. Show off those pearly whites, bro.